Shannon Myers with Liberty University, Communications 101, doing my persuasive speech today, persuading others to use birth control. As the days go on, we hear more and more of teenagers becoming pregnant at such a young age. More than a handful of my closest friends have made the mistake of becoming sexually active at a very young age without using any form of contraceptive. As much as a blessing as it is to grant new life into this world, it's not an easy task at such a young age, and any one of the numerous forms of birth control is the best way to protect yourself from a big event like this. Let's face it, in today's world, more and more teenagers are becoming sexually active, and there's no way of stopping it. Whether they say, oh, my friends are doing it, or they think their boyfriend or girlfriend and them are in love with each other, it's going to happen. There's no stopping it. Since the fact is known true, why not educate and open the window for these teenagers to have birth control available? Today I can't stress to you enough the importance of using some form of contraceptive to prevent pregnancy. I'll include information about the different methods of birth control, the effectiveness of birth control, and certain hardships and tribulations that birth control can prevent. Birth control is available in many different methods. The most common and easiest methods, which have no effect on future pregnancy, are the hormonal methods. Being the most common one is the pill. It's the oral contraceptive. The governmental program for women's health describes the pill as containing the hormones estrogen and progestin. It's taken daily to keep the ovaries from releasing an egg. The pill also causes changes in the lining of the uterus and the cervical mucus to keep the sperm from joining the egg, totally preventing possible pregnancy from happening. Another common form of birth control is known as the patch, called by its brand name Ortho-Evra, and it's worn on the lower abdomen or the buttocks, upper arm, or upper body. It releases the hormones progestin and estrogen into the bloodstream to stop the ovaries from releasing the eggs in most women. A more added form of birth control is known as the shot. It's called by its brand name Depo-Provera. You just get injections or shots of the hormone progestin in the buttocks or arm every 3 months. This birth control shot stops the ovaries from releasing an egg in most women. As the 3 already mentioned birth control methods are the most commonly used, many other methods include vaginal rings, implantable devices, condoms, cervical caps. Whichever method chosen, all are efficient in preventing pregnancy and to help preserve one's youth. Birth control is very effective. Regardless of whichever method is chosen to be used, the effectiveness of birth control ranges from 60 to 99.9% effective. Of course, this is a much higher effectiveness than not using any contraceptive at all. The most common form of birth control being used, the oral contraceptive, is known as the pill, of course. Deborah Mitchell includes in her book, The Concise Encyclopedia of Women's Sexual and Reproductive Health, that the pill is 95 to 99.9% effective. These rates are based, of course, on proper use, swallowing the pill once a day. With all these different forms of birth controls, of course, you're expecting it to do something. Birth control does prevent future hardships that many face when they're not ready for pregnancy or the future birth of a child who has been conceived. FamilyFirstAid.org provides recent statistics on the consequences of early pregnancy and the future consequence related to that early pregnancy. These statistics include teen mothers are less likely to complete high school, and only 1.5% of teen moms earn their college degree by the age of 30. Teen mothers are more likely to end up on welfare. Nearly 80% of unmarried teen mothers end up on welfare. The children of teenage mothers have lower birth weights and are more likely to perform poorly in school. They're at a greater risk of abuse and neglect. The sons of teenage mothers are 13% more likely to end up in prison, while daughters are 22% more likely to become teen mothers themselves. With such an unwanted future proven through statistics, why is it that more and more teenagers are becoming pregnant? Maybe television and media make it seem this way. Many girls are viewers of the recent show on MTV's Teen Mom. This show follows around 4 to 5 girls who became 16 and pregnant and gives them a celebrity persona in a way. Makes them feel good about themselves. They have their own TV show. But in all reality, teen moms have it tougher than it may look. And before actually taking a walk in those shoes, birth control needs to become a more commonly taken pill or more commonly used contraceptive, whichever form is chosen. There's only one way to prevent future hardships and preserve one's adolescence when sexually active. That's through the proper use of birth control. One of my closest friends, Amber, recently said to me, "I love my daughter, and there is no doubt I wouldn't want her here with me. But being so young and having very little money, I wish I would have been properly taking my birth control and had my little girl when I was ready." So, in the end, taking birth control has so many advantages. We spoke of that in this day and age, more and more teenagers are becoming sexually active and aren't thinking too much of their future or past the moment that they're currently in. Taking birth control is effective, of course, keeping your future on track, allowing you time and money to build the future that you hope for. All the forms of birth control are effective, and of course they're all more effective than no form whatsoever. So today we've learned the many different forms, how effective birth control is, and we've learned about all the hardships and tribulations that birth control can prevent. So to prevent our teenage daughters, sisters, and cousins from having a baby too young, I challenge you to become educated on all forms of birth control and become active in making sure sexually active teens are using birth control. Preventing a child from being conceived is a lot easier thing to do than to end a child's life who has already been conceived, whose mother is choosing abortion. Thank you.